Okay guys, before we get started with the M and its inner workings, let's talk about the 16-bit wavetable process on loading it. The best way that I find to get them on there, and a cool way to do it so you can view what you're actually loading as you name it out. Wavetable slot 00 and so on. Use Wave Edit. It's a free open source program, I guess, that's online right now that everyone's using, and it is today's standard for viewing wavetables and or probably wavetable creation. So I suggest you guys use that because I find that it's the best way to get them on there and also to see and look at what you are putting on there, viewing what you want. Okay? And we'll carry on right now and listen to some presets and talk about the dynamics of this wonderful box. This box is very, very, very unique. And on this second piano that we're using tempered metal. It's a Synth piano. Uh, there is no effect on it. It just sounds like there's a reverb, delay, echo. It's very good. Mr. Hawk, I gotta shout you out. Definitely need some effects, but we can emulate that with the fixed oscillator option. And that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to recap the oscillators and how they function on this magnificent machine because it gives me the blues. Okay, so let's talk about 8-bit and 16-bit. That was a 16-bit wavetable array. You can only use syncing and ring modulation with 16-bit. 8-bit, there are a slight difference with that. The ASCII bug changes the level and the texture of the 8-bit oscillator, while the DRES changes the 16-bit texture of the oscillator and the loudness levels. Like, you can definitely tell that it ups the amplitude volume as if this box needs it, because this box gets pretty loud. So 8-bit is geared more toward rougher type sounds, and it would be more geared toward, I would want to say, basses and stuff like that, because that's what I have experienced, and we'll talk about that and share it later on some other tape. Now, when using 8-bit, you have the low pass 12, band pass 12, high pass 12, and notch 12. Those are the only digital filters that work with it. 16-bit, the rest of them, you get the whole kit and caboodle across the board. Now, talking about the fixed oscillator tuning octaves and intervals, you go from C-2 all the way up to C3. Now, that works for the transitions as well, for the transition bass controlling the tuning. That window that you see here, this graph that you see on screen, will show you the same exact tuning octaves and intervals. As far as the glide is concerned, exponential and linear modes. If you set it right to the middle for the rate, 64 is the middle. Exponential will be faster with lower values and slower with higher values. And the exact opposite happens for the linear. You have lower values that make the glide slower, while the higher values make it faster. 64 being the center of everything, the center point, zero crossing. As far as the oscillators are concerned, 0 for the octave is the center point. You can go plus minus 1 or plus minus 2. How do you get the plus and the minus 3s? You add in the negative 12 or the plus 12 on the semitones. Okay. Now, oscillator fixing makes it to where there is no key tracking. All right. So let me show you what I'm talking about. We've got some patches here, some presets. We'll go to 16-bit. We'll turn oscillator 1 off for the purpose of this tape. We'll just use a factory table. Turn sync on. Oscillator 1 has no volume, as you see. So that's how that works. You can change the actual tuning with the oscillator octave knob. Now, oscillator 2 is the active. Now, let's turn that off and let's turn ring mod on. We got ring mod sync. Starting to clip. Excuse me, I didn't mean to blow your eardrums out. Mine are getting gooey, but I'm saying that bass can get really fat even on 16-bit, as you hear. So ring modulation opens up, I would want to say, a type of frequency modulation, because we're not going to argue semantics about how things are sounding when you sum two signals together and it changes the original form and or shape or sound or tonic. But to each their own. I feel that ring modulation is definitely a form of frequency modulation, but we know as well it is a form of amplitude modulation. Now, we need to talk about other stuff, but I feel like I'm talking too much. We're going to shut this tape down, and then we'll get on to the oscillator function tabs. So little different things like, we'll talk about, the syncing and the fixing. We've already done that, gone over it. And when you, that's the thing, when you are using the fix oscillator, it is going to pronounce the frequency information where you have it set to. So in the case being, let's set it up to oscillator 2 fix. See, now let's change it. Now we'll set the A sharp minus 2. So I'm changing the fix all the way up to C3. You can get some weird sounds. You have to experiment with it, but when you fix it, that's what it does. It makes it to where the key tracking is not active. Now I have oscillator 1 on fix. These are very atrocious sounds, but I mean, you can tweak them and get to something to taste when you do a little bit more modulation, and that's what we actually have to get into on the next tape. So we'll set up some stuff and we'll talk about it more. I just thought I'd let you hear some presets. I'd like to get these ones that I've been working on online so you can try them out yourselves. And we'll talk on the next episode. This tape's gotten quite long for me. Okay? I'll catch you. I hope you enjoyed. Take care.